Shedeur was raised to listen. Shedeur was raised to be respectful. Shedeur was raised to be a professional. Shedeur showed you throughout this entire season that not only does he listen, but he plays his role and understands who he is and where he is and the hierarchy of what an organization is.
The take itself, RC, I think it was a shitty take. Yeah, I think he admitted that. If you're a player, you have a head coach. It doesn't matter the head coach's qualification. If he's your head coach, he's your boss, you listen to your boss. This is the only way you're going to get close to winning games, or the only way you're going to get close to succeeding and doing the things you want to do in this league. Ain't no way you tell a player don't listen to your head coach under any circumstances. Now, if the player...
You're listening to all your coaches. You're doing what the hell they tell you to do, and that's what players have to do. You've had good coaches, you have bad coaches. So that take was bullshit anyway, we know that. But I kind of laugh at it, the backpedal, because he listened. I don't get in the comments. Y'all know I don't get in the comments. I don't give a damn. All my takes, y'all know a bunch of my takes get criticized. Why do I care what John in his mom's basement says? But if Oprah and MJ call you, yeah, let me back up on this. Those are very...
Emmanuel Acho faced some serious backlash from his fellow hosts on the Pivot podcast. And the criticism of his take on Shedeur Sanders was so harsh that Acho had to backtrack faster than a quarterback caught off guard by a deep route. Fred Taylor labeled it as foolish. Channing Crowder claimed that his head serves as clickbait. Ryan Clark revealed the true motivation behind Acho's take, and it has nothing to do with the game itself. Before we dive into how the Pivot hosts systematically dismantled Acho's credibility, there are 3 key points you need to grasp. Initially, Acho's reaction to the criticism, boasting about receiving calls from Oprah and Michael Jordan, only intensified the situation and revealed his genuine priorities. Secondly, Ryan Clark's breakdown of Todd Monken's background clearly shows that Acho failed to do his homework before speaking up. This controversy sheds light on Shedeur's true professionalism, highlighting how he stands in stark contrast to the narrative that Acho attempted to construct. Keep your eyes peeled, because this goes beyond just a single poor opinion. This piece delves into the ways some media figures create drama surrounding Shedeur Sanders to boost their engagement, and how that strategy is finally coming back to haunt them. Allow me to paint the picture. Emmanuel Acho takes to his show to assert that Shedeur Sanders should disregard Todd Monken's advice, pointing out that Monken has yet to secure a victory as a head coach. The internet goes wild. The anger among Browns fans is palpable. Shedeur supporters are furious. Even casual NFL fans are calling that the most ridiculous thing they've ever heard. Acho's friends, the media guys he's connected with, take to the Pivot podcast and completely tear him apart. Fred Taylor was straightforward about it. He called that take foolish. You're taking in everything your coaches are saying. You're following their orders without question. That's exactly what players need to focus on. Absurd. That's the term he chose. Neither misguided nor controversial. Just plain foolish. However, it takes a turn for the worse. Channing Crowder stepped up his game even more. He claimed that Acho's whole strategy in the media is all about clickbait, suggesting that even his head is clickbait. That's not a critique. That's just plain disrespectful. That implies you're not taking the analysis seriously. You're just chasing after attention. Ryan Clark, typically known for his diplomacy and measured approach, dissected Acho's perspective, highlighting how fundamentally flawed it was and indicating a lack of even basic research on the topic. Clark stated, Todd Monken has rightfully earned his position. He climbed the ranks as a brilliant offensive strategist. He clinched national championships while at Georgia. Baltimore's offense transformed under his guidance, leading to Lamar Jackson capturing an MVP award. Acho was discussing a coach he clearly has no familiarity with.
Todd Monken earned his position. Todd Monken has worked his way up as an offensive mind, even as an older coach, to be the head coach of the Cleveland Browns. Todd Monken has won national championships at Georgia as an offensive coordinator. He's taken the Baltimore Ravens and that offense, and he actually allowed it to evolve under who Lamar Jackson was. He won an MVP under Todd Monken. He should have won another one with a 41-4 season from a touchdown interception ratio. So those are all reasons that Shedeur should listen. And also, too, Shedeur was raised to listen. Shedeur was raised to be respectful. Shedeur was raised to be a professional. Shedeur showed you throughout this entire season that not only does he listen, but he plays his role and understands who he is and where he is and the hierarchy of what an organization is. And so I think for us, when we get on these platforms and we have these opportunities, we do have to be very careful to watch what's clickbaity, to watch what we believe.
But here's what adds an extra layer of intrigue. In the wake of the criticism, Acho made an attempt to stand his ground and justify his stance. He began to outline his achievements. I receive calls from Oprah. I receive calls from Michael Jordan. I have authored books. I've got a whole list of other accomplishments. Hold on, what just happened? Your football take is getting absolutely wrecked. So you're bringing up Oprah in response? Your analysis isn't being defended there. That's just dodging the issue. The hosts of The Pivot definitely picked up on that as well. His response was hailed as impressive, yet they quickly highlighted the issue at hand. When your football take misses the mark, nothing else really counts. Fred Taylor nailed it. If Oprah and MJ reach out to you, let me clarify this. However, you continue to heed the guidance of your coaches. Every player who stepped onto that field paid attention to their coaches. Your connections in the celebrity world don't give you the edge when it comes to football knowledge. When Ryan Clark dissected the reasons why Shedeur Sanders contradicts the narrative Acho attempted to construct, highlighting Shedeur's upbringing rooted in professionalism and respect, he unveiled a much larger issue surrounding this controversy. Clark made a statement that's vital for grasping the essence of this situation. He stated, Shedeur was brought up to pay attention. Shedeur was brought up to show respect. Shedeur was molded for greatness in the professional arena. Shedeur has demonstrated all season long that he not only pays attention, but he also embraces his role and comprehends the structure of what an organization entails. That right there is the truth that Acho completely overlooked. Shedeur Sanders is not a prima donna who turns a deaf ear to his coaches. He's not just another privileged kid who believes he has all the answers. He's completely the contrary to that. He suited up for his dad at Jackson State in Colorado. Do you really believe Deion Sanders would allow his son to ignore coaching advice? Do you believe Coach Prime would put up with any disrespect towards his coaching staff? No way. Shedeur was expected to meet elevated expectations, not diminished ones. Clark highlighting that is crucial, as it reveals just how contrived Acho's controversy truly was. He spun a tale about Shedeur that lacks any connection to the truth. Now, this is where things start to heat up. Fred Taylor highlighted an issue that seems to be flying under the radar for many. He stated, I admire him for being a man and taking a step back. However, for him to suggest ignore your coach is quite something. Because you followed your coach's advice, that's highlighting the hypocrisy. Acho had a career in the NFL. He understands the importance of heeding your coach's advice. He understands that it's crucial for achieving success in the league. What could possibly lead him to say something different about Shedeur? What would drive him to craft a story that contradicts all that he understands to be true? That's the moment when Channing Crowder's comment really stands out. His head is a total attention grabber. That's the solution. Acho's statement was crafted for the spotlight, lacking accuracy and insight, solely aimed at driving traffic. Shedeur's name made the headline. He dropped a hot take. He was aware it would blow up, yet he went ahead with it, despite knowing it was the wrong move. That doesn't qualify as analysis. That's taking advantage. Ryan Clark nailed this phenomenon with his explanation. He mentioned, we need to be cautious about what seems clickbaity and what we think will attract attention, as it can sometimes lead to the wrong kind of attention. And wow, Acho really attracted the wrong kind of attention. He believed he could create a stir and spark conversations. Instead, he was completely overwhelmed by his peers. He faced criticism from those he holds in high regard. He revealed himself as an individual who values sensationalism more than trustworthiness. The most frustrating aspect is that this situation extends beyond just Emmanuel Acho. This discusses the trend in which specific media figures approach Shedeur Sanders. They stir up controversies that aren't really there. They create stories that lack any foundation in truth. They doubt his professionalism, scrutinize his work ethic, and challenge his attitude, all without a shred of evidence. When faced with criticism, they tend to either double down on their stance or redirect the conversation to highlight their other achievements. But here's what they fail to grasp. True football enthusiasts can easily recognize it. Shedeur supporters have a clear view of the situation. Now, even other media members are starting to take notice. The hosts of The Pivot chose not to respond to Acho's perspective. They had the option to stay silent, but they decided to take a stand because the situation was so outrageously wrong that not speaking out would have meant being complicit. Fred Taylor had a remarkable career in the NFL that spanned more than 10 years. He understands the formula for success. He's calling Acho's opinion foolish. Channing Crowder carved out a niche in the media world by staying true to himself and speaking candidly. He's claiming that Acho is just in it for the clickbait. Ryan Clark stands out as a highly regarded figure in the realm of sports analysis. He's dissecting how Acho failed to conduct even the most fundamental research on Todd Monken. When your colleagues are taking you down in the public eye, that's the moment you realize you've gone too far. Now, let's dive into Ryan Clark's comments on Todd Monken, as this is where Acho's research shortcomings really come to light. Clark highlighted Monken's achievements. National championships at Georgia, transforming Lamar Jackson into an MVP, and shaping Baltimore's offense into one of the most dynamic in the league. Those are significant accomplishments. Those are impressive credentials that demonstrate Monken's expertise in developing quarterbacks and executing plays at the elite level. Acho brushed aside all of that with a single statement. He has yet to secure a victory as a head coach. That's akin to suggesting a skilled surgeon shouldn't perform surgery simply because they haven't held the position of hospital CEO. This criticism is totally off base and misses the point entirely. Monken's role is to elevate Shedeur and orchestrate the offense. His entire career showcases his qualifications to do just that. However, Acho chose not to delve into any of that. He spotted a chance to drop a bold opinion, seized it, and now he's facing the consequences. Let's dive into what this signifies for Shedeur in particular. Acho may be facing the consequences of his poor opinion, but it's Shedeur who truly bears the brunt of these narratives. When media figures suggest that Shedeur shouldn't heed his coach's advice, it fosters an impression that he may be hard to coach, perhaps even arrogant, as if he believes he has a superior understanding compared to others. That's simply not accurate, yet the story takes hold regardless. And that poses a significant risk for a rookie quarterback aiming to make his mark in the NFL. Teams could be reluctant to take him in the draft. Coaches could have reservations about collaborating with him. Fans could form unfavorable views even before he steps onto the field. It all happened just because someone was chasing clicks. The response from the Pivot hosts is crucial for understanding the situation. They're standing firm against that misleading narrative. Shedeur's professionalism is being accurately represented. They're standing up for him, while Acho attempted to bring him down. Ryan Clark pointed out, Shedeur has demonstrated all season long that he not only pays attention, but he embraces his role and comprehends his identity, as well as the structure of the organization. This is vital intel for teams assessing Shedeur. The evidence clearly shows that the worries Acho brought up are entirely baseless. And this perspective comes from someone who has genuinely observed Shedeur in action, someone who has scrutinized his performance, someone who put in the effort to research what Acho overlooked. Now, Let's dive into Acho's response, because this is where things get particularly revealing, especially in light of the backlash he faced. He failed to stand up for his football analysis. He failed to back up his assertions with any evidence. He failed to provide any rationale for his decision. He remarked, "Sure, everyone has their off moments, but those of you with questionable opinions aren't getting calls from Oprah and MJ." That's not a defense at all. That's a clear acknowledgement that the take missed the mark, quickly followed by a bid to showcase his celebrity ties. And the pivot host wasn't fooled for a second. Fred Taylor acknowledged the impressive nature of the play, but quickly followed up with, "That doesn't change the fact that the take was stupid." Channing Crowder didn't hold back. He essentially remarked, "Impressive achievements. Your perspective on football remains off base." Ultimately, it's not Oprah or Michael Jordan who are going to back up your NFL analysis. They lack expertise in coaching and quarterback development. Their phone calls don't validate your opinions on Todd Monken and Shedeur Sanders. It's akin to being caught in a poor business choice and retorting with, "Sure, but check out my nice car." The vehicle won't rectify the poor choice. This controversy really highlights the contrasting approaches within the realm of sports media. The hosts of The Pivot, Fred Taylor, Channing Crowder, and Ryan Clark, are all former players. They understand the atmosphere of that locker room. They grasp the intricacies of the coach-player relationship. Emmanuel Acho had a career in the league, but at some point, he transitioned from being a player with valuable insights to a media figure seeking the spotlight. There's a significant distinction between those two methods. The hosts of The Pivot place a strong emphasis on precision. They aim to provide fans with genuine insight into the inner workings of the NFL. They aren't afraid to challenge poor opinions, even when it gets a bit awkward. Acho appears to be focused on creating content that captures attention and spreads quickly. He craves that bold opinion that sparks conversation, even if it misses the mark. The repercussions of that strategy are unfolding right before our eyes. He achieved the spotlight he sought, but now his credibility has taken a hit. His peers aren't buying the opinion. His audience is scrutinizing his intentions. Was it truly worth it? Most likely not. The key takeaway from all of this is crystal clear. The current media environment surrounding Shedeur Sanders is incredibly toxic. It's frustrating to see so many individuals stirring up drama, fabricating stories, and using his name just to drive traffic. However, there are individuals like the Pivot hosts who aren't afraid to stand their ground, who are committed to speaking the truth, and who will defend a young player against unjust criticism. That's exactly what Shedeur requires as he steps into the NFL arena. He requires individuals who will assess him objectively, who will measure his true performance rather than get caught up in fabricated narratives, who will acknowledge his successes and provide genuine feedback when he falls short. Emmanuel Acho's perspective lacked genuine critique. That was pure clickbait. It's a relief that other media members stepped up to call it out, because if the entire media landscape mirrored Acho's approach, we'd be missing out on genuine analysis. We'd only see sensational opinions crafted to grab attention, no matter the truth behind them. The reality that his colleagues publicly tore him apart is actually a positive development. That signifies the ongoing responsibility within the realm of sports media. That means you can't just throw out any statement without facing the repercussions. I foresee that this won't be the final instance of someone attempting to stir up fake controversy surrounding Shedeur. After witnessing what transpired with Acho, perhaps some in the media will reconsider before throwing out blatantly foolish opinions just to grab headlines. And if they don't, let's hope more voices like the Pivot hosts step up to hold them accountable. I've got a question for you. Do you think Emmanuel Acho genuinely believed his statements, or was it all just a strategy for attention? Do you believe he'll adjust his strategy after facing criticism from his colleagues, or will he continue prioritizing virality over accuracy? Share your thoughts below, as this discussion on sports media priorities goes beyond a single questionable opinion on Shedeur Sanders. If you're looking for in-depth analysis of the media narratives surrounding Shedeur and the Browns, make sure to subscribe now. We're committed to exposing the nonsense and standing up for the truth, regardless of who's behind the commentary.